WoW is back. WoW is back. And in terms of saying WoW is back, well, Bellular released his opinion on what he thinks so far and why he believes this is the most important moment in WoW's modern history. Is that clickbait? Or is that just a great title? I don't know. We're about to find out. We're going to watch this video. Then we're going to get into game. I'm going to form up group. We'll probably do 2 Mythic Zeros before I start grinding out Rathian Rep. I really want to do Rathian Rep today. I've been trying to get... I want the Black Dragon mount, and there's also some gear to be had from that. And I don't want to finish... I think I have 4 more Mythic Zeros to do this week. I don't want to do them all today. We can do 2 today, 2 tomorrow. That's the plan. Not to disturb Sam... But is he in a guild on Area 52 that he likes? No, I'm not. I'm not in a guild currently. I'm currently guildless. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Sam, are you going to get that Mythic amount a week before Season 1 ends? You talking about Mythic Plus? Yeah, I will do it. I'll get the mount for sure. For sure. I always do. No, he said he's not the other day? Yeah, no, I'm not in a guild. If I start a guild for the stream, would you be interested? You start a guild for this stream? The reason why I don't want a guild related to the stream is because I don't want people to feel like they need to be in the guild to get into my raids. Because we do raids all the time on this stream, and I don't want people to feel like if they're in the guild, they should have priority into the raid. And I don't want people to feel like, oh, I'm not in the guild, so I can't get in the raid. The guild subject's toppy. I said toppy. It's touchy. And maybe one day I'll form a guild, but as of right now, I think I'm going to stay guildless. I'm thinking more for raid materials and feasts. I'll look into it more. I'll think about it more. We'll see. For now, I'm guildless, and I'll probably stay guildless for a little while. Okay, let's get into this Bellular video. Let's see what he thinks of why this is the biggest moment in WoW modern history.
Hey, it's goddamn back, at least so far. This honeymoon period is absolutely goddamn big compared to the same period in Shadowlands. We can't call it yet, but
Mythic
honeymoon period, apples to apples? Oh man, we're back in Azeroth, the world feels full of life, and the game doesn't fist you just for looking at it, which is
Wait a minute.
improved.
The game fists you for look. Yeah, that's actually a good description of Shadowlands. Yeah, I did feel like I had gotten fisted every time I logged off that game.
If Blizzard play their cards right, and this is my main point, this is the end of what seemed to be the end, and it may even be the start of a new beginning, one where the game emerges forth from 4 years of utter self-destruction on almost every front. But again, I said, if they play their cards right. That's still an if. Okay. I mean, look, I almost got whiplash from saying that whole paragraph. You maybe also have whiplash from having heard it, because I know it's pretty glowing.
Let's lay waste to this realm.
Zushi Yoko, thank you for the follow and welcome to our Scourge.
Our patrons with the new December loot, which
there you go, December loot for the patrons.
Through the end of December on the tier, then you'll get this awesome pin, as well as, of course, everything else that is.
I wasn't aware that you knew what getting fisted felt like, Sam.
The awesome art.
The more you know.
Videos as we make them, so early.
I mean, I've been playing World of Warcraft
a whole bunch else, lore walking
since
podcast,
vanilla,
and,
right? So I played WoD,
big old plans,
and that was probably the first time I ever got fisted. So I have a
So
history of being fisted by this game. It was just more intense and less lubricated during Shadowlands.
As we try to make more ambitious series like the Big Dragon series, which we definitely want to do more of in the future.
Day, you got your gum yesterday? Awesome, man. I hope you like it. Yeah, Neuro Gum.
Name of the credits, awesome loot.
It's good.
More great shit.
Is it not? I think it's great, Day. I hope you like it, man.
More like home, eh? Shadowlands felt like 4 zones of a weird
first time I got fisted with Shadowlands.
Park,
we all have our first
rather
time.
than 4 slices of Warcraft's world, right? It felt more pick themes out of a hat, right? Oh, let's do weird vampires. Let's do ancient Greece. You know, it just kind of it felt.
I was thinking the same thing flying around the Dragon Isles yesterday. How disconjointed Shadowlands realms felt, right? Like from Bastion to Maldraxxus. Like they're two different islands. They felt completely separate. It didn't feel like a sprawling, alive landscape. I was flying through the Dragon Isles, and because I had my view distance turned all the way up, I could literally see across the land, right? I could see the frozen tundras on one side, and I could see the Onahara Plains on the other, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I think that the Dragon Isles in general are some of the best landscaping that the Blizzard devs have ever done. And it's made the game feel alive again.
It felt strange. The lore was quite alienating.
Tiffany,
right?
you got your cinnamon gum the other day. Awesome.
Departure that's now firmly feeling.
I wish I got
us.
cinnamon. When
So
I got
much
mine,
of
they
the
were sold
content
out.
So far in Dragonflight is world building, right? It feels like Azeroth world building. That side quest with the dragon, whose
It was
visage is a
intentional, but I just
dwarf,
didn't like the
I mean,
game design.
goddamn. It's such a simple quest, but it is so good. It lends
Everybody
true
loves this
gravitas
quest.
to the history of Azeroth, more than just about any dragon content has. And that was just a small bit of writing, but it really makes you feel their experience being games that old.
True.
Much like how the excellent dragon writing in FF14 was just unforgettably good. That quest was a glimmer of WoW's world at its best. And, well, speaking of which, we can't not talk about the side content. I mean, per the achievements, there's 34 side quest
great.
chains. That is so much content, and in almost every case, it is fleshing out characters, telling small, self-contained stories, fleshing out the world.
It does give you energy.
It's
The gum
built
does give you
on,
energy, so
I
be
guess,
careful
expanding
chewing that
and
shit at night.
deepening the familiar,
And it's strong, the
right?
flavor.
And that means that it's offering payoff to our investment in Azeroth, which is quite the opposite of what we've been used to recently. This content, it feels fresh, it feels fun. I mean, hell, even their attempts at humor have actually had a pretty damn high hit rate. Me and my guild, we're salty bastards. Our guild chat right now, though, it's glowing. It really is. People are enjoying stories, highlighting pleasant surprises that we're all getting. And unlike almost like all side quests, a lot of the time, these ones actually matter to the game systems. Man, reputations are night and day. I mean, sure, world quests and
Rep
things
grinds
to do
are so
weekly
much
still
better.
there, but
So much
the
better.
design of the new rep system with its, 1,000 rep per renown means that so far everything feels like good progression.
Yes.
It's
And I really started focusing on the Rathian rep lately, but you don't have to. That's the best part about these rep grinds and the whole renown system that's in Dragonflight. It's not required. It's not player power progression, so it doesn't matter. And that's why I do it, because it's fun. If I feel like doing something, I just do it.
it's natural. It feels natural. Those side quests, they reward you with a big boost in reputation.
Yep, I've been
All
doing
while
them.
you're
They're great.
enjoying novel content, meeting new characters, learning about the lore, and unlocking new features, right?
Yes,
it
very true.
just feels right. Like everything is well aligned in the overall game experience. Now, eventually, yeah, we'll be back to some of the usual, but man, this is undeniably a step up from this relative time 2 years ago. Everything on your world map, it's progress, and if you want to mostly ignore renown, well, outside of professions, you totally can. That alt that you're raid logging on, it'll get, raid gear and the crafting resources that will get it the really, good crafted gear. It won't need to farm renown.
Alts are in a great
But
place
if you
in this
wanted to,
expansion.
well,
Great
hey,
place.
good news. There's a catch-up system already built in from day one. I mean, compared to the way that Anima ended up, it is amazing what just some slight tweaks to the overall presentation of content can do. Because when you really dive into some of the nuts and bolts, there's
I get
quite a few
PTSD when I hear
similarities,
Anima.
But it's the presentation, it's the minutia, it's all of that that's made it work. And oh yeah, the events. Some of them feel like MMO events, right? It's like group stuff. I mean, that's what you get from like the Dragonbane Siege. You've got the PvP world quests.
Yes.
They now have like a good little gearing system designed in and around them, which means you want to have a
I have 5
PvP
level
gear
sevens,
set, and
my
they're mostly like stupid, wacky, weird fun. I remember doing
For crafting, rep
the one
matters.
in
That is true,
Legion
Amaraz.
Stormheim, where you could like knock people off
But
a
if you're-
cliff with the
if you don't
extraction
want to,
bar
you
with
don't
the
have
bolt.
to.
Like that was
You wanna be
stupid
great
fun.
at
And you've got
crafting, then you do
similar
it.
stuff here. Then you've got just events like the soup, bunch of people coming together making some soup. And it all
Soup. I haven't done it yet. I probably
right.
should, man.
It's all well-themed, I suppose, this weekly stuff. It's well-themed. It feels like it makes sense in the world.
Yes.
There's some grindable stuff. The one-off side quests work very well. Just the overall structure.
The soup game is laggy.
very
There are lag issues
interesting.
still in game. There are
And,
server issues.
it's also, well, there's a big thing I feel astoundingly more this time around. Love, right?
Love.
All those intangible things that feel better. The expansion just reeks of creator passion. you
Yes,
know?
it's true.
It feels like they were really glad to be back in Azeroth, I would say. And maybe even more glad to not be writing like weird, edgy, dark stuff that just didn't
Yes.
really land with everybody.
Yes.
Like there's more of a sense of fun.
This is just like fun fantasy to write about, right? This is fun fantasy to write about, like dragons and primalists and dragon isles and venturing out and flying over new lands. This is fun stuff. I'm sure the writers had more fun writing about this shit than they did writing about a bald guy who retconned 90% of the lore in the game, created everything, and his girlfriend slash not girlfriend slash slave girl Sylvanas shows up, and she's already got a shitty backstory that's been completely fucked up, and now that has to get worked in. It's and then we're fighting in a sex dungeon. We got to do our Torghast runs. We got to raid in the sex dungeon now, and the entire thing is filled with horrible music, spiky dildos, and basically nothing that we've ever wanted in this game. That's a hard thing to write about. Imagine you're a writer and that's the assignment you get. Or the assignment they got for Dragonflight, which was just a paper probably that said dragons. Fuck yeah. That's high fantasy. That's easy to write about. That's fun. Spiky dildos.
And exploration and adventure, and it really does work. And I know this is just a feeling, right? But it's one that I am seeing all over the internet from the people who are actually playing the game. So, you know, what is it? What is that factor? That special sauce, right? That like little injection of soul that makes an experience more than merely its mechanics. Well, whatever that thing is, I think it is here in spades as compared to Shadowlands, which is kind of funny.
Good morning,
Shadowlands
Ryoshi.
was an expansion.
Ryunoshi.
Basically, that was narratively designed around extracting a numerical value from the totality of one's soul. That's kind of funny.
Covenants
But
were
this
shit.
time around, it's making a game that is just so much more basically likable than what we've been used to.
Likeable.
And that helps. I mean, right. Take a show that I like, Stargate SG-1. Is it full of trashy cheese
Never
and
watched this
schlock
before.
and jank? Yeah. But for some reason, it's really quite lovable. Same for a show like Buffy.
I've been practicing.
You know? So I hope you know what I'm getting at. I'm also getting at Professions big time. I have to talk about them in this video, don't I? Professions just immense. I love Professions right now. And
I haven't done anything profession-wise in this game probably since, I want to say Burning Crusade. I haven't actually done any kind of real profession shit because Burning Crusade jewel crafting came out, and I remember I was into that, like I wanted to do jewel crafting. And I haven't really touched professions since then, until now. Professions are fun right now. And I'm actually trying to level up my professions and do that shit for the first time ever since BC. So they did professions right. They're great.
Taylor
They're in
and
a very good
Skinner
spot.
on my priest. I know being a Skinner makes no sense, but I like clicking in things when they die. The level up
I'm currently a
experience
jewel
for this
crafter
is
in
just
game
banging.
still.
The way that you get a little boost of XP for your first time crafts, that just makes the initial progression feel great. And then the gear that you're crafting is like readily actually good for your character when you're leveling, which makes you feel powerful, makes you care about the profession more. I got a few Titan training matrices as I leveled up, and that meant that when I hit level 70, I was able to just make a bunch of upgrades for myself immediately. And now when I do a Mythic Zero dungeon, I know that like I'm actively excited that I could potentially get a rank 4 Titan training matrix, which would let me craft some 372 gear. And
There you
that'll
go.
be great because that will let me fill in missing slots in my character. And
Exactly. And I actually think crafting gear is in a really good spot item level wise right now because I don't want crafting gear to ever be better than raiding gear. Because what that opens up the chance for is that somebody could pay to win, essentially. They could buy a WoW token, go onto the auction house, and buy all the gear that would be as good as raiding gear. And I don't think the game should ever be in a spot where that's possible. What I like about crafting gear is it gives you the ability to get ready to raid. right? If you're a really good crafter, or you know somebody who's a really good crafter, or you have a lot of mats, you can legitimately prepare yourself for raid through crafting. And I think that is the perfect sweet spot for crafting gear. It shouldn't be so shitty that it never matters and that you just fucking make it and sell it to a vendor. But it also shouldn't be beyond raid gear. It's literally the perfect sweet spot right now where it is raid prep gear. That is perfect, and it's great for alts as well.
Deterministic way. It's just like a little
Stop
loot token at the end. I mean, this feels so
Having a
much
guild?
better.
It could. I know there's benefits to having a guild, that's for sure.
I mean, we were talking about the logic of it, but now we're actually playing it and experiencing it and feeling it, and that's what makes, I mean, that's the proof of the pudding, right? It's in the eating. It just feels like a whole other layer of bad luck protection placed.
There's a reason
all
guilds
over the game.
exist.
So the
There are
TLDR
benefits
here
to them.
is brilliant, as is gearing so far. Where's the bullshit? I cannot find it. I mean, there's the Primal Storms. Where are they? That's confusing. But the World PvP stuff, the events, the weekly quest, honor, dungeons, crafted gear, it just feels like there's so many ways to progress your character this time around. And there's like no bullshit in them. I mean, hell, with the whole Spark of Ingenuity thing and the
with Torghast, there was no other way.
getting
You had to do it. You had to
dungeons
get your
in a raid in
legendary,
season one,
or you were a
this is the
fucking
season
noob.
one thing. But that means we'll essentially have a fully deterministic layer of gearing, right? And that's in addition to kind of the basics that Shadowlands re-established. I mean, so far, everyone I've talked to is pretty glowing about the state of gear. And also that world content players can get fairly decked out eventually. I mean, yeah, albeit a bit slower.
True.
But that feels fairly engaging to
Yeah,
them.
that's good
Pretty
content.
damn good. And, I mean, for them, that's just like a whole other bit of the games being opened up. And then there's the thing that I can't not mention, and that's dragon riding. Dragon riding is so goddamn good. I have seen the really funny Imager link of a compilation of people seething super hard on the official forums.
Dragon riding's too hard. What the fuck? This guy's comment is dragon ride. This is horrible to try to master. Please let me fly regularly. Well, Gurkthok, you know what I have to say? Just get good, man. What the hell's hard about pressing your spacebar at the right time? My God, dragon riding, so fun. I want to smash my keyboard because it's too hard. Are people serious? They think dragon riding is hard? I cannot for the life of me get this glyph at the top of the mountain. I spend all my vigor just to wait for it to recharge and try again. Fun? I think not. I just want oh my God, what the hell is wrong with people? Dragon flying is a terrible idea. Congratulations, you took flying and managed to make it suck. Honestly, you could have just invented such oh my God. What the hell? I can't believe what's wrong with people. Disconnect keyboard. Yeah. They don't have the glyphs. Well, I mean, apparently not. And this guy, Zayata, is not even good enough to get the glyphs. What's wrong with him? Dragon riding's hard. I guess they can go play Hello Kitty Island Adventure if the current dragon riding is too hard. What the hell?
Which was hilarious, but
I'm
no,
shook
as far
by
as I'm
this.
concerned, dragon riding, it is fun.
It's so good.
Actually paying attention to the mechanics and engaging with the game.
I think my 5-year-old son could master dragon riding if I told him how to do it. Dragon riding is extremely easy. It literally just adds a little bit of engagement to flying. There's no skill involved in fucking dragon riding. What the hell's wrong with people?
I think there's so many people who've mono games and MMO.
They can go play
like
Shadowlands.
Warcraft,
Yeah,
like,
you want to ride to
no
regular amount, you
second
can go back to
fun when they
Shadowlands.
see it because
You can do it
they're
there.
not used to playing like video games. And I guess the other thing too is Blizzard. They were careful about something. I think they were.
I hate
aware
the fact that I can't dragon ride in Azeroth right now.
Me and other people who were on the alpha were very glowing about our initial experience of the dragon riding, but they saw all of the suspicion in the non-testers. And I think that means that they clearly wanted to make this feel like an evidently good thing for everyone. I mean, if you play your cards right, you can fly indefinitely. And because it's all happening as a result of literally...
You could certainly fly indefinitely. Reyna, that is the only point that I agree with. I do miss the ability to hover. Now, maybe later on in dragon flying, they'll unlock an ability where, you can just click it and remain in place. That would be cool. And you could put a cooldown on it if you want to or something. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I agree. Just the ability to kind of sit there and hover would be nice. I agree with that. That's probably the only addition I would make to dragon flying.
your controls, more than just pointing in a direction and hitting auto run. It feels active, it feels aggressive, it feels like you get that speed
And it's
by
so
playing.
fast.
It means that WoW is
So
feeling like an
fast.
active game. The multiplayer races are fun. The advanced, time trials are fun. We can now have fun world quests. Like the one where you fly through.
We're gonna probably do
the
these.
rings and all the cliffs to place
I've
the
done, like,
banners,
one
and,
or
that's
two
a
of 'em.
quest you do in like 30 seconds. You get a little reward, but hey, it's a little opportunity for you to, kind of duck and weave and curve about while you're
Should
flying.
cost extra vigor to
And
hire.
then even just
yeah,
things
right.
like doing
There's
the
other
world
ways
tour
to
of the
hover.
races, the
There's ways to
world
do
tour
it for
of the
sure.
glyphs. This is World of Warcraft feeling like a goddamn video game in a way that MMORPGs rarely kind of don't. And that's good. I cannot wait for a future that embraces more stuff like this. Okay, let's take it back to story stuff. Razageth. She's a more believable and successful villain than the Jailer, right? She's not coming in and destroying past lore. In my
Understatement of the year. Yeah, Razageth didn't penetrate and rip apart prior lore. Fantastic lore. That was great before. Now, there was a slight retcon besides Razageth. The fact that Neltharion / Deathwing accepted the Void as a power, right? He basically willingly took it on at this point to fight against the Primalists. That's the only real retcon that's happened in this expansion so far. And that's okay. That's okay. That kind of retcon is like, yeah, I can see the difference. But the retcons that were done in Shadowlands, where they essentially took everything we loved and ripped it apart, just like Sylvanas did with the Helm of Domination, that was fucked. And it put Shadowlands in a bad spot that nobody liked to see. Now, Primalists make sense. The dragon aspects make sense. There is no the first ones, the incarnates, the first of the firsts, the bitch ones, the dank ones. I don't even know where it was going half the time, the lore. And I still, honestly, you ask me about Shadowlands lore right now, I have no idea what the fuck was going on. No idea what the fuck was going on. And in the end, the Jailer's final words were perfect. It was literally a compilation of all of Shadowlands lore. He says, "You will not be able to stop what is to come." And then just his final word, "come," he shoots that word out of his mouth, and then he dies. And you know what that says to me? Nothing. I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. And that's pretty much Shadowlands lore in a nutshell. I don't know what the fuck was going on. I was just trying to get some loot.
Opinion, who knows?
This
They
lore
could obviously
is
fuck
good.
The whole thing.
Primalists, dragon
Right? It's just
aspects,
like a skeleton
Titans.
in the closet
It makes sense.
of Alex Straza. That's the skeleton's out
What's
of the
up,
closet.
Entgrove?
Oh dear, what's going to happen? I think that's fine. I think it feels like a fairly good expansion of the dragon lore, which is something that I think generally has been quite underwritten as compared to other parts of the game, and so much of it has just been relegated to books anyway. That doing it properly in game and actually paying attention.
Another part of this lore, the cutscene cinematics were great. The quest lines were awesome, and the cutscenes were so good at telling major moments in the story. Very good stuff.
Putting love and focus onto it, I think is turning out really well. I mean, that whole Chromie time adventure at the end of Thaldraszus,
When he's
that
down
was
on his
pretty
knees,
brilliant. I mean,
and his last words were,
Infinite
"Come."
Dragon,
Exactly,
She'll be
Typo.
back. There's going to be something there, I bet. And also, let's be real, the Dragon's Cataclysm story was fairly weak. I think they're more interesting. They've got more intrigue.
They have
Each of their
personality now.
characters, I think, has a more emotionally resonant story.
Yes.
You can feel the weight in Alex Straza with Kaelagos. I think especially if you watched our video going over literally all the shit that poor guy's been through. Kaelagos is
so good. The
working
lore is so good
really
right now.
well. But then at the same time, the main campaign quest is not domineering and overpowering. It's a fairly simple story so far, and it's being told just pretty straight, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. Razageth does not like what Alex Straza and her mates did. They had a war, Alex Straza locked her up, and Razageth is understandably really goddamn pissed that she was locked.
And the key to what he said is understandably, right? We know Razageth is the bad guy right now. That's the bad guy. But you kind of see the primalist side of the story, where the rest of the dragons, you had the aspects, but then you had the others who were kind of against their will. They didn't even know they were drinking this Titan piss, but they did, and now they got changed from proto drakes into the current drakes that we have. the primalists were kind of left out to dry. The ones who didn't accept the gift, basically. So you understand her side of the story. She's a bad guy. We're going to kill her because she drops loot, and we want the loot. But there is a bit of sympathy to her side of the story. Again, it just makes the story that much better.
Locked up for 10,000
Yeah, they tainted the water, Titan
which,
piss.
I
That's
mean,
what
I
it
don't
is.
know. Ask Illidan. I'm sure he'll say it sucked as well. So what have I been saying for ages about like the core campaign stuff? I've said, think about Legion. What does that mean? That means keep it big, cool things like dragons fighting each other.
Exactly.
Keep it very simple.
Keep it
Even have a
simple.
little bit of cool cheese. And then focus your time on building the world. And that's exactly what they've done this time around. So
That's
yeah,
100%
it
what they've
does
done, and
make
it's working
sense that
perfectly.
I am enjoying it. I mean, so much of a story is in the telling, right? Like, aspects of the Shadowlands lore would have been cool and have felt good if they were executed like how FF14 does those things. Like, Emmett Selk was kind of like a one expansion dude, like the Jailer. They have wild amounts of confusing cosmology. But it ends
Sure.
up being okay.
I don't know much
because
about Final Fantasy.
they have the Scions who talk to each other about the lore and want to discuss
Someone
the lore
poisoned the
with
dragon
each other
hole,
and
yeah.
try to work out what's really going
That's what they
on.
did.
And that means the player is taken along with that journey, so we're not in some bizarre situation where we see hints that are dropped in the game and try to think, you know, okay, well, what is in Steve's notebook? I guess that's the story now. What are they thinking about? Let's speculate. This time around, it's just more simple and in-game, yet with some nice little points of intrigue that we can talk about, but that are rooted, or like, you know, that are built on a foundation that is pretty simple.
Yep.
With Alexstrasza and Razagath, right?
Makes sense.
I think it's a pretty good
This
balance.
this cutscene was good.
I mean, the way that WoW's done it has certainly meant that lore YouTubers
You're not
like
ready
me
for Final
can
Fantasy
exist and have a job, and that's fine. But I think
Probably
we'd all
never will
rather
be.
have a good game. So thus far, I'll say they're not overreaching their capacity, right? The story is fitting how it is being told thus far.
Yes.
Now, I will say, in terms of my long-term confidence, this is definitely the area where I'm least sure over are, but thus far, I am pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
And I guess, big point,
We have no way to know what is to
kind of
come,
round this up.
as the jailer would
There's no
say.
bullshit. There's no
What is to come.
looming drama.
But we know what's came
Right.
so far is great.
Like, by this time in Legion, we were having discussions about AP, alt-friendliness, legendaries,
God.
the legendary
Oh, God.
acquisition. People forget a lot of the downsides of Legion. This time in BFA, we were talking about Azerite and all that bullshit. This time in Shadowlands, we were talking about Covenants and all
As great as Legion was, it was the beginning of the infinite grind. It was the beginning of, getting, collecting shit, putting it into some shit to make that shit stronger, the never-ending grind. That's what Legion started. Now, Legion did it right. Everything after that was like Azerite armor and legendary grinds and fucking Covenant grinds and all that. It just became too much. But it looks like with Dragonflight, that era is officially over.
of that bullshit.
The AP grinds are done.
This time, there's no bullshit. There's no bullshit to talk about.
I remember watching
There's,
that cinematic
I guess,
and being excited.
No, like, cataclysmically boneheaded decision that, like, poisons the well and has you entering the expansion already on a bit of a downer because you've just been through this beta testing process that was just super dramatic and
Well,
and
these are the same
annoying
letters
and-
for
and
3
full of
expansions,
stuff.
I know.
But no, now
True.
it's like, hey, here's the game, and the game feels pretty fair. It feels like we're getting, generally speaking, what we would want from Azeroth, right? So part of this is me being generally quite happy. Part of the positive tone in this video is also the contrast between, between where we were and where we are now. There's definitely still
Thank God there's no aspect
plenty
power.
of gains to be had. We're not at the crest of the hill yet, far from it. But I mean, man, just
The expansion is not
difference
over.
Is pretty crazy.
And they could totally shit the bed from here on out. But what the design decisions and the decisions they made so far tell us is that their mind seems to be in the right place. And if they continue to do that, I think this expansion is going to be fantastic, as long as there is consistent content updates. That's important too.
And just the
We need
minutia
shit
of
to
the
do.
decision making consistently seems to be on point with how this expansion has been put together thus far. And I guess we can then talk about future. the future feels a bit less uncertain. As we covered in one of our videos, they have a team that's 50% larger working on this game. They've been making those significant investments. They've, I mean, they just, it seems like things are generally going in a far better direction. I think there was plenty of good stuff that came out of, you know, Preach's whole, you know, travel to California and everything came back from that. And there's more and more coming from, back from that, you know, as time goes on. But it does seem like lessons have been learned. We
That's
always
such a cool
said
board
the
game
proof would be
in the back.
in the eating.
Some people in chat said they have it.
We can feel that better decision making. So now, basically, where I'm left is, right now, it's all for Blizzard to lose. If they fall back into some of those old ways, if, you know, basically, they have a really big win in their hands.
They do. It's been great.
They just need to keep up the good work and
Don't
not
fuck
do
it up.
anything
Don't fuck it up, please.
really silly.
Please don't fuck it up.
If we
It's
just
great.
have what they say they want to do, which is a, you know, a more even patch cycle.
Yes.
I think seemingly one that has more content, which does make sense considering the team is 50%
Content is king.
larger.
Gotta have the
If they
content.
can just do that, keep nailing the basics, and you know, I mean, we're fairly sure that a Mage Tower-like thing is coming. We're fairly sure that an archaeology revamp is coming. Like, if they can just keep a pretty good cadence there, and there's really no reason why they shouldn't, especially when you think about, you know, patch cycles of MOP, patch cycles of Legion, and how much larger the team is now.
Oh yeah. We've had expansions where patch cycles have hit regularly, and it's been great. It's been really, really good. So they've done it in the past. They've been able to do it. Shadowlands was fucking horrible. WoD, same thing. Horrible content droughts. Content droughts, no matter how good content is, will kill an expansion. The hell is that? Yeah, they will kill an expansion. So they have proven that they can do it before, and I think they're ready to do it right now in Dragonflight. Just fingers crossed that they don't fuck this up, because so far it's very good.
It's all to win. It's all to win.
It's all there.
They just have to keep it up, and if they lose, I think it will be because some very silly decision was made. This is, you know, if you're kind of looking ahead, thinking about like what are the potential timelines for World of Warcraft?
Yeah,
what percentage
good thing
of
that
them
stuff
are
is
good?
hopefully
What
over
percentage
there.
of them are bad? There's a lot of times in Shadowlands where, you know, we're thinking the next expansion's a dud, that's it, I'm out, I can't take it anymore. Right? Like the percentage of, if you were thinking about J-Lore and especially patch 9.1, you know, if you're looking at patch 9.1, you're looking at everything right into that, like what are you immediately thinking?
9.1 will go down as the worst patch in WoW history. No doubt in my mind.
Oh, this game's
Domination shards? Fucking horrible. What a stupid idea. A progression system in the raid that only lasts one patch. What a fucking stupid idea.
fucked. If this is what they think we want, we are in for a bad time. I think at that point, the percentage of possible timelines, the percentage of possible future timelines that have World of Warcraft being good was very tiny. I think right now, the percentage of potential future timelines where World of Warcraft is good is at a, for the past 5 years, high. And that's good. All that means is, probabilistically, I think things should be a hell of a lot better.
I think so too.
It's not me saying it will be. I'm saying I think it's more probable than it has in really any recent time. So that's the crack with this. I think, yeah, this could be the start of a kind of new little rebirth, a new beginning for the game. And I think World of Warcraft can grow. I think this is a very strong foundation. That
I agree. The foundation is being laid.
Stand to the game for quite a long time. I hope
and
that
I think
in
it's
2
a good
years
one.
we can look back at this and think, wow, this is where they were able to turn it around.
The turning point.
So let's see how it goes. I'll treat it in good faith. What I can say right now is I'm more jazzed than ever, and I'm thinking about how we can put more resources and more investment into our World of Warcraft content, which I suppose ultimately would twig you on to some of my decision making and how I am generally rather bullish on this And I mean, it's great. I'm just allowed to completely follow the fun, follow my passion, and
Totally.
I think it's been a really good time for our team too. So let me know what you think.
It's been a good time for everybody.
Of course, you can check out
Streamers,
lots of content like
YouTube
our Big
creators.
Dragon series next. Dragon series is absolutely awesome. I think Yazara just came
OnlyFans
out, so you can
creators.
Check her out. Man,
Everyone's had a great time so far.
oh, the boys did work on that video.
They did.
So check it out.
It's been so good. Dragonflight's been great. Really, from this point on, they're either going to continue in this direction or they're going to turn around and fuck it up. I'm hoping that they continue to make things work. This is a really good expansion so far. I'm very excited for where it's going and can't wait to play. And that's what we're about to do right now.